Alright guys, let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Crypto Corner with myself, OJ, crypto analyst and investor since 2016. So today we're going to look at Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP. I'm just going to look at these three because these are, the most popular ones. Bitcoin is of course the most important coin because right now we're doing a little bit of a recovery today, but we did drop quite significantly over the last week. And again, I saw on social media so many people talking about Bitcoin back to 12K. 10K. I saw a very bearish video yesterday that I will basically this is my comment and my response to all of the bears, the big bears that are talking about Bitcoin falling even below the lows of last November, which was 15,000. I still believe that 15,000 is our bottom. I'm going to show you the chart now. I'm going to show you my prediction, and we're going to analyze the shorter term as well as the longer term so that we can see what is due to happen. I basically see a slight correlation between what happened in the last bear cycle, where we did have a short-term rally, a relief rally. Well, it wasn't very short-term. It was about 3 months of a rally in 2019, and then after that, during the summer of 2019, we got rejected from 13,000, and then the rest of the year, from July pretty much all the way until December of 2019, we were in a downtrend. Is that going to happen with Bitcoin? Well, it seems quite likely. So let's go into the charts and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so let's start first with Bitcoin as usual. And this is the 3-day chart, so slightly bigger time frame. We can see that we are in the oversold stochastic RSI, which is indicating that a push on the upside is to be expected. I mean, it already started today. Not bad, and we did come into this support zone and it was holding us throughout the weekend, which is usually a time to dump. We managed to actually hold this support. We did break it briefly, but that was, as you see, very brief, just a week here on the 3-day. I mean, if we go on the shorter time frames, this is not going to be just a week. But for the time being, the 3-day chart is actually showing us that we can come out of this support range and manage to come above it. And if we manage to stay above it, this will be good news. But for the time being, we are still looking kind of bearish here because we are making lower lows, we are making lower highs, so the trend is in fact downwards. So even though we are seeing this push on the upside right now, it would really depend on how we do this week and perhaps even next week. If we manage to stay above this support zone, then we can talk about a recovery. But as I said, for the time being, we are still in a downtrend. The weekly is still looking okay. As we made this drop, we came very close to the 21 moving average, but we didn't touch it even, we didn't break it. So for the time being, the 2 moving averages, 21 and 34 weekly, which are the ones that I really care about on the weekly time frame, they're holding the support. They're still acting as a support. But as we are in a downtrend, I'm still expecting that we will come to retest the support of these moving averages. At the moment, they're very close together. They're not always like that. I mean, with time, they will move apart. You can see here, for instance, they were much more apart than they are right now. This is a bullish cross that we are observing on the 2 moving averages. So this is good news. And we are going into the oversold stochastic RSI. We are not there yet, but we are close to that. So another few weeks and we will be in the oversold region perhaps, and we can talk about recovery. But for the time being, yet again, we are still in a downtrend. Now, going into the shorter time frames, the daily is looking bullish. You can see that we are coming out of the oversold region in the stochastic RSI. The MACDs are also quite low and they are curving now on the upside. At some point, they will print that bullish cross that we need. So the daily is actually looking quite good. I want to see a breakout that is happening with a bit more volume. Right now the volume is very low, especially compared to the last few days. Therefore, we cannot really talk about a bull rally here. This is not a rally, this is just a recovery. I see this as a bounce from this drop, heavy drop. We are making a bounce. Very likely we will come here to retest the upper 27,000 and even 28,000. I think the 29,000, if we manage to get there, we have this here, we have this level here. So 29,000, and that's even close to 30. This remains our strongest resistance. Before that, we have the upper 28,000 and lower 29,000. This range here is most likely what we are going to challenge, and I feel we're going to fail as we come into this range. The simple RSI is not really in oversold region, but it's already curving on the upside. So we are changing the direction here. The simple RSI is not as fast responding as the stochastic RSI. As you can see, the stochastic RSI is already in the oversold region. It's printed that curve and it's now going on the upside. That's why I actually follow the stochastic RSI more than the simple RSI. It's giving me a slightly more accurate price projection here. It's actually showing me these levels. It's much more responsive than the simple RSI. Another thing that I usually look at are the 50 and the 9th moving averages. They have printed a bearish cross not long ago. I think I did a technical analysis just as we were printing this bearish cross, and this is when I was exiting my positions. And this is still indicating that we are in a bearish zone in the hands of the bears. But as you see, we are reclaiming the 9th moving average. And of course, after that, we are going to test the 50th moving average, currently sitting at 27,700. So if we manage to get to the 50th moving average, that will be a strong resistance. I expect a lot of selling pressure around this moving average, around this resistance here. And if we manage to break above it, that would be really good news for us. But for the time being, it is a little too early to claim that this is going to happen. I feel that we need to see a lot more volume kicking in for this to happen. And so far, I know it's early hours of Monday, so we still have plenty of time. American market has not even opened yet. We'll see how, of course, crypto markets don't close, but what I'm saying is, in America, people, it's night time right now as I'm recording this, so people have not really started trading there. So in that respect, American market has not yet opened, and we'll see how it will respond to this bullish move today. We could see a lot more volume kicking in, and then we could actually find the strength to go to that moving average and perhaps even break above it over the next couple of days. We'll see how this goes. If we break above it, then it will be great. We can talk about recovery, but as I said, until then, we are still in a bearish trend. We are still making lower lows, and we are making now lower highs. So that's not great for us. Another thing that I want to point out here, and I talked about this in my groups, and I mentioned it even months ago, but I never actually did here a proper display of what I'm talking about, is that this relief rally, I call this a relief rally. Where we are right now, all this pump from our lows of 15,000 up until all the way up until here, the 30,000, this here was a relief rally that I feel is just a leg in the bearish trend. We are still in the bear cycle. I don't think we have completely come out of this bear cycle. We never managed to break the 30,000 properly and really start rallying up on the upside. So therefore, I'm still expecting further downwards price action. And if you look back in time, last bear cycle, which was here, 2000 and started in late 2017, throughout 2018 we did a very bearish move here. We printed a low, and then we had a relief rally, but this was not the beginning of the next bull cycle. We still continued. This is 2019 in the summer. We managed to print from April up until June. We managed to print a strong rally here. And then, as we got rejected, we went all the way to almost 14,000, 13,500, and that's from the lows of 3,000 all the way to 13K. And then for the rest of the year, we were actually continuing a downtrend, and we dropped all the way back to 7K. Then we had the start of the next year, and what seemed to be the beginning of another bull rally, but then the pandemic hit and we had another low. So we will exclude this here because this was a black swan event, but what I'm talking about is this price action here. So after a relief rally, which was following a long bear cycle of over a year, after this relief rally, we found a rejection point, and from that point, we actually continued for at least 6 months to just downtrend. So this is very likely what we can expect here. So we had a long bear cycle, a year. It started in November 21 and it ended in November 22. And then we saw a relief rally, just like we did in 2019. Then we found our rejection here at the 30K, and now we are starting the next leg down. This is what I'm expecting for Bitcoin, that after the rejection point here, we are now going to be downtrending for at least a few months before we actually find the strength to start another rally. And this downtrend doesn't have to take us to new lows. Many people are talking about these new lows, but I don't believe in that. I feel that it will be more of a consolidation with slight drops. Perhaps we can see even some more sharper drops or anything. We could go down to around 20,000. I feel that the support of 19,000 is quite strong. And then if it doesn't hold us, we did establish this 16,500 also as a decent support here. So we have two support levels that are going to hold us and that are going to be quite a decent support for us. Before we start talking about 15, 12, 10,000, 8,000, someone suggested yesterday. I saw this very, very bearish outlook on Bitcoin.
And then we're going to get the Bitcoin bottom, the real Bitcoin bottom, probably 8, 9, or 10,000. And the move is not yet done. In all likelihood, you're going to take out 15,000. Again, we're probably going to bounce off the 100 period, but once we take out 25,000 right here, which was resistance now, turns support, once that breaks, this will be marked as a failed breakout, just as when we drop back below this breakout area here, it was marked as a failed breakout, and the same thing over here. This is likely not the bottom at 15,000, and this is likely a bear market rally that will give us the final stage of the crash, which will produce the bottom. And when it happens, you're going to be able to pick up Bitcoin on sale at a discount for pennies on the dollar.
Definitely not something that I believe in. I feel that even if we come back into the 20,000 region, that 19K and maybe a brief drop to 16K, this is definitely going to provide us with a support from where we can bounce and we can start the proper recovery and talk about the next bull run. But until then, I'm expecting that we will continue the downtrend with minor, push on the upside now, perhaps retesting the 29,000, 28,000, finding another rejection and then continuing to consolidate between 25 to 28,000 for a while, maybe dropping to 20K. This is my long-term projection for Bitcoin. I'm still not expecting Bitcoin to drop any lower than the low of 15K. I feel that this was the low of the market, and if anything, we will come to retest it, but we will find the support and we are not going to drop below that low during this bear cycle. Okay, now let's talk about Ethereum. Let's take a look at the daily because it's the more important chart. We actually have stochastic RSI still in the oversold region and curving now on the upside, so this is a bullish signal. And here we have to still reclaim the 50th moving average. We recently saw that bearish cross in the two moving averages, but if we manage to reclaim, we are already at the 9th. If we manage to reclaim the 50th, then we're going to see a bullish cross in them. And this is something that is actually happening quite often. We can see here a bearish cross, a very quick reclaim of the 50th moving average, and then a bullish cross. I expect this to happen, and then we have to try and retest this resistance here of 1938, this zone. I feel that this is the direction that we are going. After this drop, this is where we are going right now. However, the one thing I don't really like here on this chart is the fact that we are having a drop in volume as the price is starting to go up. And this is confluence in price action that is bearish. So if we don't pick up in volume, and especially if we continue going upwards and the volume stays low or keeps dropping, then this is going to look very bearish. So we have to keep an eye on that on Ethereum. And let's take a look at XRP. And this is, let me take off the Oryx indicator. We are still respecting this upwards trend line, our support trend line. We didn't come all the way down here during this drop, and we're still making higher lows and higher highs on the daily. As we go into the shorter time frames, we see an oversold stochastic RSI. This is the 8 hour. And if we go on the 4 hour, the RSI is already on the downside. So not exactly as bullish as I would like to see here. Also quite high in the stochastic RSI on the 12-hour chart. And let's take a look on the weekly. Let's take a look at the higher time frames, because this is really more important. And the weekly is also still going downwards. We're quite low in volume, so I really want to see XRP pick up in volume. We broke below the 21st and 34 moving averages, which is also not great for us. We have to reclaim this. We are very close though to them, so if we manage to reclaim them this week, then we can continue upwards. But if we stay below these moving averages for another week or so, we are just going to confirm a downtrend here. So this could be a turn of the trend. This uptrend here that we've been following for some time could actually be broken. If we fail to reclaim these moving averages, we can continue downwards, and at some point we're going to get too close to this support line here, and then we can even break it. So it's of course, if Bitcoin is going down, then XRP will be doing that. So really, Bitcoin is what we need to watch out here for, because the altcoins, as you see, they're really following Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is not really consolidating. Bitcoin is making bigger moves. If Bitcoin makes another drop, then all of the alts are going to drop with it. So that's why it's always important to keep an eye at what Bitcoin is doing. Also, another thing that I want to point out here is that we are forming this bearish flag. This is a pattern that usually breaks on the downside. So even though right now we are breaking it on the upside, we have to watch out, because this could be just a very short-term break out, and then we can fall back into that region. And if we do that, then we can expect even a break on the downside, because this is a continuation pattern, and as it is in a downtrend, continuation means breaking on the downside. So that's yet another indicator here that shows us that Bitcoin, even though it's recovering already, it is not yet turning the trend. We are still in a downtrend here. Alright, well, this is everything for today's episode. I hope this is helping you and you like this analysis. If you do, show your support by leaving a like and a comment below. Also, don't forget to check out the links in the description below, where I drop the links to all of the crypto services that I'm personally using and that I recommend to you. And while you're here, just pick another one of my videos, and I'm gonna see you there.